Welcome back to Physician Non-Clinical Careers, episode number 294, behind the scenes look at planning the first non-clinical career summit. Welcome back, Non-Clinical Nation. I'm your host, John Jurica. I'm also the co-founder of NewScript and creator of the Non-Clinical Career Academy and the Non-Clinical Career Mastermind. This week, I decided to provide a quick overview of the planning process for producing a low-tech online summit. The summit I'm talking about, of course, is the NewScript Non-Clinical Career Summit, which is scheduled to begin 1 week from the release of this episode. Well, today, as of I'm creating the episode. But before I get into the content of today's podcast, as I write this, Tom Davis and I and the rest of our team are feverishly working on pulling this whole thing together. We've spent a lot of time on it, but I mean, it's really hard to access and work on all these moving parts, but we're getting it done. So if you want to see how things are coming along, by all means, go to nonclinicalcareersummit.com and check it out. Even if you don't want to listen to the rest of this podcast episode or watch the rest of this YouTube video, okay? So that's at nonclinicalcareersummit.com. And if you go there now, you'll see the website. You'll see how we got it set up to sign up for the free part and to buy the all access pass if you want. And hopefully we've got everything explained in there as to what exactly is going to happen. And I am going to talk about that today. So sorry if today seems like it's going to be a 25-minute promotional episode, but I think we can get some good information from this. Really putting together a summit like this kind of brings together a lot of the things I've been working on for many years, you know, from doing marketing and emailing and social media and creating the podcast and learning how to use video and audio and run Zoom meetings and all that. So let's, move on and let's talk about that today. That's really what I want to cover. So let's get into, first of all, what a summit is. Now, summits have become very popular recently, and, it may be a little bit amusing because really what distinguishes a summit from other types of conferences? I would say a summit is a type of conference, but let's see how it's kind of maybe different from the typical conference you might be attending live or online. Well, first of all, most summits are online. They're an online form of conference. The second thing is that the live or the basic version of a summit is usually free or extremely low cost. And then usually there's access to recordings or ancillary or bonus content that's normally sold for an additional fee. So you get the free aspect of the summit. In our case, it's 12 hours of almost 12 hours. There are breaks in there, but it's 12 hours over 3 days of lectures followed by Q&A. And the whole thing, like I said, is free. You can learn a lot. You can take notes. But if you want to get recordings and you want to get all the bonuses that might come up to support the lectures, then you're going to have to buy the all access pass, okay? Now, usually it's focused on one particular theme. A lot of times it's something related to business. So like real estate investing or careers or marketing or any other business topic. And it generally involves anywhere from 10 to even 30 or 40 presentations done over a few days to up to a week. And the other thing that usually happens with a summit and why there are so many sort of support programs have grown recently to help support summits is that usually the presenters are also serving as affiliates to help market the program. So in other words, like the speakers we have, most of our speakers are mentors on NewScript, but we have some other experts that Tom and I know. We ask them if they want to go ahead and, get on and give a lecture for 30 minutes, answer some Q&A for 20 minutes. And in exchange, they can get a little bit of authority, be part of something that's a positive thing. And they can also promote this to their followers, their listeners, some of their customers, their email subscribers, and make some marketing affiliate commissions. And so it all kind of pulls together. Now, the way they vary sometimes is a lot of summits are pre-recorded. So they'll record all of the lectures and maybe even have some sort of pseudo Q&A, but they'll just record the sessions, and then they'll either drip them out during the week or during the day, or each day they'll post, let's say, if they're doing a 3-day summit or a 4-day summit, they'll post 1/3 or 1/4 of the lectures for that day. People can access it at their own rate, and then wait till the next day when the others are dripped out, and the next day and the next day. And again, usually during that time, it's being promoted and people are, buying access to the recordings. Now, sometimes they're done live, which is what we decided to do. And part of the reason was that I did a survey and I pretty much asked people what they wanted. And people that are on my email list, people in NewScript, and they basically said they wanted to do it in the evening, and really that they wanted it to be live and have a Q&A. And there have been other summits that I've attended that this is the process that's been used. And it's really good because there's a lot of interaction and it seems more real. And really, when you're learning, if you can ask questions, it's a whole lot better than just listening to a pre-recorded 20 or 30-minute video, that may have some good content, but then, you can't follow up. So we decided, okay, we're going to go low tech. We're just going to run it on our Zoom. We're not going to pre-record anything. There's a little exception to that because we had a couple of speakers that, for whatever reason, it would be almost impossible for them to be live on the summit because of the timing. So we have a couple of them that are going to be recorded, but they'll be posted during the live event. So we're not going to send those out to people that have signed up. If they want to really get the free version of even the recordings they have to attend, you'd have to attend. So we decided to do it that way, make it live, make it exciting. There might be glitches, we're prepared as best we can for that. And that's what we're going to do. And the night that we do it, the 3 nights that we do it, from April 11 to April 13, we're going to be recording the sessions, including the Q&A. We're going to get those posted as quickly as we can. And anybody that buys the all access pass will have access to those forever. Plus, it'll be not just the video recordings, but an audio version, plus any bonuses that we have. I'll talk about the bonuses later. So anyway, let's see. I wanted to go through in detail, how we approach this and the kind of the principles we decide to follow. So we're going to keep it as low tech as we can. We're not going to hire some outside firm to try and coordinate and put this whole thing together and market it and so forth, only because they take a huge chunk of money, and we're trying to keep this as low cost as possible. Hence the fact that there's 12 hours of free content. Just show up and it's there for you. We want it to be convenient. So as I said, the survey said people wanted it during the week. They don't want to screw up their weekend. And, because people can't usually work during the day, it's going to be run in the evenings for 4 hours. As I thought about this, I thought, what did I get myself into? I'm going to sit on a Zoom call for 4 hours, 3 nights in a row. I think I might go nuts, but I think it'll be fun, actually. And I'll be really pumped when the time comes. It needs to be affordable, which it will be. Even the all access pass is going to be so low cost. It's just crazy. We wanted to do it live to have that Q&A, and we wanted it to be really powerful and impactful. We really want to help who we look at as basically the people we serve. Tom and I run NewScript, and so we kind of gear this for them, clinicians who are looking to get away from burnout and lack of satisfaction and fulfillment in their jobs, and feeling that they're being taken for granted at their jobs. And so it's that audience. But obviously there are a lot of people who aren't in NewScript that have the same feelings and are looking for the same things. And so we're going to be putting this out to a very, very large audience. All right, so what did we do? I talked about the survey. We talked about the timing. When we first started talking about this, I think it was in October of 2020. And I thought, well, let's see, we got 3 or 4 months. Maybe we should just try and do this in the middle of January. We're past all the holidays and, everything should be quieting down. course, I'm talking to you now, and I'm recording this in March, so that obviously didn't work out. But we looked at our calendars, and Tom in particular said, it's going to be tough to squeeze that in. I've got some things going on in January, so it looks like maybe April will be better. And I'm glad we did that, because there were a lot of things we had to do up front to get this thing rolling. And so I'm really happy that I still have another few weeks to finish up what my part of putting this together is. And then once we made that decision, then it's kind of like Stephen Covey used to tell us, you start with the end in mind. Okay. So starting from, okay, here's what we want to create. What do we need to do to plan this thing? I have some experience in planning big projects. I was basically in charge of the implementation of the first integrated full hospital electronic medical record, which meant it had to integrate with radiology and the pharmacy and the nursing and all the doctors who had never done order entry before. So we had, in that project, we had at least 7 different committees, call them subcommittees, and they were all working on their part of it. Of course, everything for the summit is basically Tom Davis and me. And so it's a mini version of that. So let's see, what do I want to go into first? Well, we decided also that we wanted to try to stick with the most popular topics that were asked about in NewScript and outside of NewScript in terms of burnout and overwhelm and starting a business, starting a new clinical or non-clinical position or non-traditional clinical position or job, side gig, full-time activity. We wanted to use our mentors. We have over a dozen mentors now in NewScript. They're all experts on those kinds of things. Some are experts on particular, industries like pharma or hospitals or academic settings or insurance or things like that. Some are coaches. Some have other expertise. So we wanted to use as many of them as we could. So we started by creating the draft schedule, and we started reaching out to people to get commitments for the topic. It was early enough that I don't think the timing was going to be a big deal, meaning that I think that we were so far out that 2-3 months in advance that most people had open schedules. We thought back and forth about how to promote this, how to post it. Originally, I was going to post all of the recordings on my Teachable account where I have the Non-Clinical Career Academy. It has a pretty slick affiliate section because what can happen is I can get affiliates for Teachable to promote my courses. Some of you may have seen that from time to time. But at the end of the day, consulting some other people and talking, we decided to set up a separate website and on a WordPress, as a WordPress website, and then add a plugin that could handle all the affiliate marketing, meaning that it would create the affiliate codes for people who are promoting this. It would track, who sold things, who sold access to the All Access Pass, and then it would automatically, process their commissions as the payments came in. Oh, and by the way, we thought about, again, to keeping this affordable. And this is another feature of summits, is that a lot of times what they'll do is you've got the free version. And then if you purchase the bonus side or the All Access Pass, or there's different terms used for it to get the recordings, to get other things, then there's a small fee. In our case, $19. So you can get all 12 hours of everything we're doing for $19 if you sign up for that All Access Pass before the start of the summit on April 11th. Now, if you wait till after, and there are going to be some people that won't even know about the summit, of course, for whatever reason, until the summit is going, and then people might be, sharing that with their friends and so forth. So we're going to be marketing it during that week, of course, heavily. Once it kicks in on the 11th, then the All Access Pass increases to $39. Okay, again, nothing. I mean, this is a ridiculously low price, but it's going to go up. And part of that is just to promote people to get off, the fence and sign up, because the price is going to go up. So we'll see probably a little peak on the 10th or 11th in the morning before the price goes up. Then during the summit for 3 days, if you come in, you're halfway through the live event and you say, well, man, I really want those lectures. So I'm going to sign up for the pass. It's going to be $39 to do that. Now, at the end of that 3-day period, we're going to be promoting it hard on the last day. And then the next day on that Friday, the price goes up to $79. Now, so that way, in retrospect, if someone goes to the whole thing or attends a lot of the lectures and says, boy, in retrospect, that was really awesome. And I didn't really take a lot of notes, so I want to purchase it. So then for 2 days, we'll be selling it for $79. And then after those 2 days pass, and we'll be sending out a bunch of emails letting people know on that third day after it ends, the price is going to go up to $279, I believe. And it'll be up to us and our affiliate promoters, who are basically, for the most part, our speakers, to decide if afterwards they want to sell it. And they can do that. They can do it intermittently. We can do sometimes maybe 3 months later, we'll decide, hey, we had a great summit, and looking back, and maybe we promote it again and sell it. And so we'll keep doing that for probably several months afterwards. So that's how it works. So we kind of came up with that plan. And then, let's see, we had to think about bonuses. Definitely the recordings will be, something worth a lot. But we thought, well, some of the lectures will have supplementary materials, and we could try to, distribute those during the live event. It's a little difficult. So the easiest thing to do is take those bonuses. It might be a checklist. It might be a list of, some topic. If the topic is about starting a UM job, it might be a list of UM companies. If it's about telemedicine, it might be a list of people or companies that hire physicians to work in telemedicine. For me, it's a list of 70 non-clinical jobs. And also I'm going to put in there, because I'm talking about hospital management, I'm going to actually, one of the bonuses is going to be access to my, basically it's a 10-course bundle, all related to hospital management jobs. And so I'm just going to put that up there for free. So another reason to, maybe spend $39 or $79 when you're going to get, basically that course alone is worth about $270, if I remember correctly. So had to figure out all that stuff ahead of time, and how to communicate with our speakers and affiliate marketers, how to get that set up. And I had an associate, one of my social media people, actually he's the guy that does my website, set up the website and the affiliate component of that. And then we had to write a marketing schedule and plan. What does that mean? That means for us to do marketing of the summit, but also to write a bunch of emails, put together some images, some social media posts that the affiliate marketers and speakers could use without having to spend a lot of time promoting it to their customers, their followers, their listeners, readers, whatever it might be. So as of this recording, I'm about 3/4 through writing that. I've already written about, I think, 12 or 13 emails. And again, they're completely optional for people to use. They're the ones I'm going to use, but makes it easier when people don't do a lot of affiliate marketing to be able to say, hey, I'm going to pull that email over. I'm going to change a few things about it, make it my own, send it out, and let my followers think about coming to hear me speak, because each of these affiliates, for the most part, are speakers, and to possibly sign up for the All Access Pass. Let's see what else. We had a lot of conversation about whether we would be able to do this with Zoom. I have a software called Webinar Jam, which is actually created to do webinars. It has a lag in it, and also it does not enable people to interact verbally at all on Webinar Jam. And it's a great software. I've made many webinars on that and promoted them, but you can't interact verbally. And so you have to rely on the chat for people to put in their questions. And it works okay. But we thought, we really want this to be live. We want to we'll probably use the chat for most of the questions, But if we want to get someone on and say, I don't quite understand your question, why don't you raise your hand or we'll unmute you and you can ask your question directly and we'll do our best to answer that question live during the Q&A. So right now we're 80% of the way there, and so far so good. The thing that we're going to have to face, we need to do another dry run with a bunch of people on the call so we can make sure everything works appropriately in the version of Zoom that I'm using. And the other thing we have to do is figure out how we're going to turn around the recordings, because obviously, we'll be creating 4 different sessions per evening during the summit. So we can hopefully try and get the video and audio recordings edited and ready for placement in the website, within a day or 2 of the actual event. So that's another thing we're working on, trying to coordinate right now. I mean, those are the main things that we talked about and that we had to do to get this thing off the ground. Right now, I'll just summarize where we are with the actual summit. We're on track to deliver those 12 lectures and Q&A sessions, starting with 4 speakers on April 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, and then 4 more on the 12th and 4 more on Thursday, the 13th. The speakers that we have, you may have heard of these people before, because I think most of them have been on my podcast, if not all of them. So let's see. We got Jen Barna, who's talking about success coaching. Norm Chapin on pursuing advanced degrees. Andrew Wilner on locum tenens. Sharissa and Alex Sandro on telemedicine, telehealth. Deborah Blaine on writing and self-publishing. Narissa Crayer on pharma jobs. Jeep and Vanessa Naum, his name is George, but he goes by Jeep. Jeep and Vanessa Naum, who are going to be talking about marriage and professional couples, and as it relates to, particularly as it relates to the stress of burnout or pursuing a new job, new career, which is very stressful on families. Tom Davis on venture capital advising. Jonathan Vitale on remote jobs. And let's see, Chelsea Turgeon on location independent work internationally. She has a very interesting story. She's been on my podcast, but she's going to get into this in great detail. And she's learned even more than she told us about when she was on the podcast a year or so ago. I'll be talking about hospital executive jobs. And I'm pretty certain that I've got someone to cover medical science liaison, which is really an important topic. It's one I talk about a lot because it's one that's accessible to physicians who don't have residency training. It's good for those with residency training and experience as well, but it's one that's commonly sought by those without residency training or board certification. My plan is that will be Dr. Maria Abunto. All of my speakers are physicians. Let me say that again. All of my speakers are physicians, although, NewScript is designed and run for all clinicians, licensed clinicians who work in the usual healthcare environments where they're abused and taken advantage of. But a lot of the material that we're going to be talking about would be useful as well to non-physicians like APNs and PAs and dentists and podiatrists and oral surgeons and social workers and other therapists in the hospital or office setting. So we think it's going to be great, and if it goes well, then we'll plan on doing it in the future again, maybe tweak it a little bit and expand it, and we'll go from there. So that's really all I wanted to talk about today. I don't know that I hit every last topic, but these things just need to be approached like any major project. I wrote a project plan, which sometimes they're called a Gantt chart. It's basically a large graphic in which each sub project task is listed on one side on the, I guess that'd be the y-axis. And then on the bottom is the x-axis, which has the dates. So I made mine a weekly, and what was supposed to happen during each, period of time. And then that way you have this big graphic visual look at when things need to be done. You can check against your plan. You can adjust the plan. You can add things to it pretty easy. I just do it on Excel. So that's how physically I put the plan together with Tom. But basically we split up the different activities and just got going. And so far, so good. I'll remind you again that if you want to join and sign up for the free part, you can do it right now at Nonclinical Career Summit, all one word, nonclinicalcareersummit.com. Takes you right to the landing page. You can sign up for the free version there. You can sign up for the all access pass, in which you get all the video and audio recordings and all the bonuses. Let me try and tell you for a minute what the bonuses are, because that might make a difference. Right now, we're still collecting bonuses and sorting through those, but it's going to include a bunch of free downloads, webinars, one of my courses called Hospital Management Careers that includes 10 separate lectures on pursuing a career as a hospital executive. That's valued at $270. And it will be a supplement to what I'm talking about. I only have 30 minutes to do my talk and 20 minutes to do the Q&A. And I've got probably about 6 hours of lectures, at least in that bundle of courses. So anyone who's really interested in doing hospital executive work or management work, I'll probably spend the first 5 minutes of my talk on why that is such a good job and why it's such an easy one to segue into. The other thing we have, I know I've got a reference guide to careers for physicians in the biopharma industry by Dr. Narissa Crayer. And I'm sure we'll have a bunch more bonuses as we get closer to the actual summit. Again, you can go to nonclinicalcareersummit.com and look at that, and you'll see the list of bonuses, and I'll try and get really full descriptions of each of them so you understand what it is you may be getting. It's going to be a blast. So I invite you to check it out, and you can contact me in the usual fashion if you have comments or suggestions. The show notes for today's episode, where you'll have that link that I just mentioned, and a couple of other ones perhaps, at nonclinicalphysicians.com/behind the scenes. There's dashes between those. And that's it for today's episode. The opinions expressed here today are mine, and the information provided on the podcast is accurate and true to the best of my knowledge, but there's no guarantee that using the methods discussed will lead to success in your career, life, or business. So always consult an attorney, accountant, or career strategist before making any major decision about your career. And I hope to see you at the summit. And I also hope to see you right here on Tuesday morning for the next episode of Physician Non-Clinical Careers. Bye now.